I'm so excited to welcome onto the show Jessica Borg. Jess, great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And we're recording actually in my house. I've been working on a pretty exciting thing that Jess has got coming on. But before we do that, Jess, Who are you? You got a pretty amazing story.
So I am a recently retired national Taekwondo athlete and amateur boxing athlete. I started my sports journey 20 years ago now, so quite some time, and found myself competing in Taekwondo on the world stage, being able to travel the world. I was ranked at 20 in under 62 women's and was gunning for an Olympics when COVID hit Tokyo, which was an experience for everyone. So I won one selection, I got beaten in the other, and when COVID hit, we didn't get a fair chance to fight it out. So the opportunity was unfortunately taken away. But after COVID and things settled and the Olympics finished, obviously that frustration and disappointment took over, and I wanted to challenge myself in something else. And I tried out for a sports transition program with the Queensland Academy of Sport, and they picked boxing for me.
Wow. How did you feel when they picked boxing?
They picked skateboarding and archery as well, but they don't make sense to me. I can't go forwards and backwards on a skateboard, let alone do tricks. Yeah. I couldn't even hold up a bow. They're huge bows. Like, they're not little. So I was no cat in a 17er at all. So it was not my dream. But boxing made sense because it's a combat sport. It's like Taekwondo. A fight is like a chess match. It all made sense. So it was, okay, I have a skill set that is transferable to this and it makes the most sense. At this point, I don't know what else to do. So why not? So I gave it a go, and it was so cool. Like, I competed in both Taekwondo, still traveling around the world, competing at huge events and also training in this new sport. So it was chaotic, and studying and working full time at the same time. So it was full chaos.
That is so chaos.
But I loved it. Every moment of it. It was awesome. It was thrilling because I didn't know what it was going to bring. And then after 3 months in boxing, I fought my first fight.
How did you feel before that first fight? You must have been...
I was on edge. It was a long weekend as well on the Gold Coast. And so many people came to watch from the selectors at the QAS who picked me because they were shocked that this was happening. My Taekwondo coaches, my family, because they could not believe, again, that this was happening. And you walk out and it was the same fight nerves as Taekwondo. Had the same goal, win effectively. And it just, when I got out there, I was like, wow, this is home.
Really? In the ring?
In the ring. But during the fight, the whole goal was to not kick because obviously it's natural instinct for so long.
Yeah.
But I got out there and then she was coming at me and I was like, oh, this is what my coach meant, my Taekwondo coach meant in these moments. Like, she'd been drilling me for years. When this happens, you do this. But then in boxing, I was like, I see it. And there's a photo of my coach girl. Like, you could see her yelling at me and my leg come off the ground. And then I heard my mum at the same time. I was like, put that leg down. And I just snapped out of it, which was lucky. Could have ended very badly. But it was, I won.
You won your first fight.
Yeah, I swung aimlessly. Wow. I watched back the videos and I don't think it was boxing. It was swimming in a ring. But I won. It was great. I did enough. So that's all that matters. And then after that, I was like, give me more. It was like a drug.
It's the most terrifying sport in the world.
Yeah, 100%. Someone is literally trying to knock you out. That's
the goal.
Yeah. And in pro boxing, that's the goal. And in amateur, it is, but also you want to score points. You want to be technical. But someone trying to punch you in the face. So that's scary. But I thought it was the best thing in the world. And then from there, like literally not even 6 months into boxing, I quit Taekwondo.
Really?
Yep. I was like, everyone was like, you Com Games 26, this is you.
Oh.
Yeah, this is your thing. And I was like, yeah, okay, great, cool. I'm here for it. As much as I love Taekwondo, it was like a breakup. Like, it was hard. You've got this ranking, you've got a reputation, you've got everything.
It's your identity, pretty much.
Exactly. And then you go into this whole new realm, which isn't that much different to what you've been doing, but you're an people don't know you. You were just you and you've got no backing. And
Was that also refreshing as well, just to be an unknown quantity, or was it
yes,
more daunting?
But at the same time, then people started to find out who I was, which made it very hard. So in amateur boxing, you're fighting and so you only fight people 0 to 2 fights. So you've had the same amount of fights, same weight division, and it keeps going until you get 10. Once you get 10, it's open. So for me, getting fights was very challenging because when I get a draw, I do my research, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything. You go on and you search who this person is and their life story. People obviously do that in boxing. It's
really
get a draw. Yeah. I want to know who's in my draw. I want to know who I'm fighting. I want to know who they beat and who beat them and how. So people were obviously doing that, and they would see my Instagram and they would see YouTube, or they'd look TaeKwonDo up and they see Channel 7 thing pop up and they go, okay, she's got experience. We don't want to fight her. This is cheating.
Oh.
We were going to great lengths. So I'd go to tournaments and I'd go to the weigh-in and girls would pull out because they're like, no, we're not fighting her. So you cut all that weight and then weigh-in boxing's the same day. You've killed yourself to get to this point to make weight, and girls would pull out.
That's so disappointing.
Very. And it was starting to then become a little bit of a deterrent. So then, I'd take fights wherever I could, even if there were girls in the next division up, so heavier than you, which in a combat mindset, I'm fighting under 57 kilos. I'm cutting from 62 kilos. Girls going to 62 are cutting from 67. So it's not dangerous. It's still within the realm. You're allowed to, but
it is dangerous.
Yeah, they're heavier. They're stronger. Yeah. There's more power. And I was starting to fight these girls and feel the impact. And in TaeKwonDo, there was up until a couple of years ago, there's no concussion protocol. And so you were getting knocked out. And if I woke up on those mats and I stood up, I was going to keep fighting. Boxing, they're a bit stricter. And I started headaches because you use constant impacts. You're getting concussion. I only had 2 concussions in boxing, but they were enough to...
Only 2? That's more than 2 that I've had in my lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. That's more than the normal person. But even before I started boxing, I noticed little things like forgetting stuff, shaking, hearing, like losing your hearing, all those sorts of things, which is daunting for the normal person. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'll just keep going. And so you're pushing your body to these crazy limits. And then come August last year, there was like moments where my fiance would yell from upstairs and I just couldn't hear anything.
No.
It happened more and more often. You have these random little blackouts in your ears, and I was like, this is not right. And then go doctors and all sorts of stuff. And in December I was medically retired, which is wild.
Which is not that long ago.
No, I stopped fighting in August, and then December is when I went training. The whole athlete life stopped.
And this is why we're talking, because you've been through this journey, and now you got to tell everyone you got a pretty awesome kick-ass job.
Yeah,
you should brag about.
So I work for Boeing, their defense arm. So that's been really cool. I spent all the years as an athlete studying to be a lawyer, and I got that and achieved that, and now I have this awesome job, Boeing, and like it's never the same passion or same drive for it, but it's still pretty cool, and I'm having the best time, and I'm excited about it, which is
that's so great. And I guess what came out of this is like you were going through this transition and you're like, what do I do? Like, how do I create a resume? And you had all these questions, and now you want to provide that to others, which is really exciting.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's certainly a gap. And when you are an athlete, like you said, it's your identity, right? You introduce yourself and people ask what you do. You're like, I am pro fighter. Like, I'm pro TaeKwonDo.
That is so cool. So you're able to say that.
It is sick. It is awesome.
So cool.
And this is, people love it and they thrive off of it. And the questions that come from it, you're like, that's me. And it's cool for, like, my fiance would introduce me. They'd ask what I do, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Who can say, not many people can say that. But then you go, when you leave, you're like, I'm Jess. And it's a bit of any athlete goes through it, regardless of the profile you have or not. And it's a hard transition, and a transition that they're not supported in. And so that's why I want to create this platform where people can come and they have access to help them go through that process and learn how to market themselves their experiences that they've had and put them to the world and for better use. Because when you finish, it just doesn't stop there.
And I think athletes are like the best people to have in businesses because of the discretionary effort, the work, just the
Your
work
adaptability, like when they
Yeah.
have a goal, they've literally trained and been conditioned all their life to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
100%.
A million.
That's the way that you're conditioned. And why not use an athlete with that mindset?
Yeah.
Like it makes so much sense.
And you're so right about it being an underserved market in terms of the resources. Because like you don't really think about it. It's such an important need. But so if people are listening and want to find out more about what you're doing, where should we send them?
Social media is the best place. We have Instagram. It's _next with 2 E's. And I'll have content going out regularly, and it's a super exciting space to watch.
I'm super excited to see what you create and how you serve this community. Awesome. It's been so fun brainstorming with you today and can't wait to see what's next.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's exciting.
It is really exciting. Thanks, Jess.